Hi, Cynthia here, your blessed broker. This is one of the ways that I can help you guys by giving you information that I know. I know a lot of people cannot really afford to pay that expensive price to credit repair companies. So this is the best way that I know how to help you is to go over small and simple things. And maybe kind of explain them and break it down a little bit more, because if you're not in an industry and people begin to talk and say certain lingo, you don't really understand that. So let's get into it. This is just some small, simple steps that you can do, or you should know how to rebuild your credit. When you experience a financial challenge, your credit record could suffer. Rebuilding it takes time. So there's no shortcuts and there's no secrets. You hear a lot of people talk about credit hacks, and technically all they do is use the Fair Credit Act to um, dispute or go over certain particular things that shouldn't or should be on your credit. So, of course, they say step one is to pay your bills on time every time. Like, that's just common sense. But we all know, like, things happen and you're not able to pay your bills on time every time. So, I don't know, like, what that's supposed to mean. Like, who wouldn't want to pay their bills on time? But anyway, I digress. Don't get close to your credit limit. I know that you all have heard this, that people, credit repair companies and videos and things like that, talk about only using 30% of your utilization, meaning your total credit unit. And in some cases, they say use less than 10%. I agree with the 10% because I feel like if you charge something, you should be able to pay it off, meaning that if you buy it, you should be able to afford to buy it. If you have to buy it on credit and you cannot pay your credit card bill, then for me, that means that you cannot afford the purchase that you made. Don't take offense to that. Don't apply for too much credit in a short time. I kid you all not. Yesterday, I saw a video where a young guy was being interviewed, and he was telling the person that was interviewing him that he had 29 credit cards. That is ludicrous. Who does that? And why was he interviewed to give that? I mean, that was just ignorance. It's just crazy to have 29 credit cards. And although he says that he only uses the 30% of utilization on certain cards and the other cards are in his file cabinet or whatever the case may be, that's still crazy, because when a underwriter, whether it's a mortgage underwriter or a loan underwriter, regardless of the situation, they're gonna look and they're gonna see all of those credit cards open and wonder, like, what the heck is going on? Why do you have so many credit cards? And can you afford to pay it? Because even though he said he only uses a small amount and he has a 30% utilization of the small amount of cards that he do use, he failed to make this point right here. If the credit cards are open, if you have all 29 credit cards open, which he said he did, then the underwriter has to take the minimum balance that you should pay or would pay on each credit card and add that to your debt to ratio. I mean, like, so why would you do that? The Bible tells us that we are lenders and not borrowers. So we want to get to a point in our lives where we do not need credit. We could just be like, cash is king. We could take cash and pay for certain things and own things outright. So, it says if you do not qualify for a regular credit card, this is good. Get a secure card. Secure cards, you can start off small and Make sure you get a secure card that does report to the credit bureaus or report it yourself. A lot of times people wait for the credit bureaus and things like that. I mean, not the credit bureaus, but the credit card companies to report for them, but you can actually report things yourself. As such as I've been telling people, you can report your rental history on your credit report. You could have them to, you could send in your payment history to the credit bureaus and have them to add it on. Again, you do not have to pay anyone for that. When you are purchasing a home, a lot of people tell you to pay someone or add a service that will add your credit reporting for your rental income. And I tell you all the time, that's not necessarily, because in mortgage, the underwriter will request a payment history. So all we do is we have this borrower's consent form. We ask for a 12 months payment history. We fax it over, and they give us the results of your payment. Even if it's on your credit report, we still request it. So don't worry about that. But secure credit cards, take your limits 250, 500, 700, 1000. Keep going higher as you're building your credit. I always say one credit card, especially one emergency credit card, is always good to have. So a total of two credit cards, one for emergency and one for everyday life. Like if you don't want to carry cash or pay things off like that. Now, if you pay with your credit card, make sure that you pay your balance off every month. And that's what I mean. I wasn't trying to be facetious or anything, but that's what I mean about, if you're going to have a credit card, be able to pay off your monthly balance. That shows any underwriter, whether it's loan banks or whomever, that you can afford to have this credit card and that you are able to pay it off, the credit off, and your debt to ratio is not truly affected by this credit card, because your affordability to pay it off is right there. It says keep up with your credit scores are based on your experience of paying your bills over time. So we know that a lot of times there are some good credit risks and some bad credit risks, and that's bad credit risk is when you have 29 credit cards because it's going against your debt to ratio. It looks shady. To be totally honest, it looks shady. I like to go to Consumer Financial Protection Bureau to get information. You see the website is right here if you want to go on there. And it has a lot of information and that you could get directly yourself, but a lot of times people do not understand what they're reading because, again, they don't work in that field or they haven't had much experience with it. So it tells you here to fix your credit right away, fix your errors. And again, that's with the dispute letters. I have some on my website, some templates that I sell for $3.33. And that's the first round. It's for bankruptcy, inquiries, collections, late pays, I think. But I think I gave about five credit letter templates for you to dispute your credit. As you see here, everyone knows this, annualcreditreport.com. You can get your credit report for free once a year. And it says Equifax offers 6 months additional free credit reports every 12 months as well through December 31st, 2026. Here are some things that you should know. Late payment, 7 years. Chapter 13, 7 years. Chapter 17, foreclosure, 7. Lawsuits and judgments, 7 years. You could get a bankruptcy off your credit report. I did a video on that showing the letter that you can use. You could screenshot the letter that I provided and watch the video that shows you how to remove a bankruptcy off of your credit report. report. And it's legal. We're not doing no fake hacks or anything like that. It's all legal. This right here talks about things these things you don't have to you they don't help with rebuilding your credit. And that's true. A debit card, of course, common sense, because you're using cash. Debit card is the same thing as paying cash, so I don't know why I say or paying cash. Using a prepaid card doesn't help because it's technically not a credit card. It's something that you upload, cash that you upload to a card. Payday loans, of course, we know is bad. Auto loans, a lot of people do the buy here, pay here, but sometimes you have to start somewhere. So it's okay if you have to go to a buy here, pay here, because we know sometimes your credit gets bad, you're unable to pay your bills, and then as you get to the point where you get another job or whatever the case may be, and you rebuilding your credit, those are the steps that you have to take. So I hope this helped. Love you guys.